Hey guys, it's Mike from the Geek Pub, and today we're going to do a little update video, or a pub talk, if you will. And you probably noticed that I haven't made any videos in the last couple of weeks, and several of you have asked in the comments where my videos have been. And I have to tell you, I have been sick. I've had one of the worst colds I've ever had. It's lasted almost 2 weeks, and I'm on the very tail end of it. And I've had sinus congestion and a runny nose. It's a viral thing. And anyway, I'm almost over that. You can probably still hear a little bit of it in my voice, but that's not very conducive to shooting video when you're sick with a runny nose and coughing and sneezing and when I sound like this. So I haven't made a lot of, or even worked on a lot of Geek Pub related stuff the last couple, 3 weeks. That being said, I do have a lot of projects coming up, and I want to talk to you about a few of those, and so we'll get to that in a minute. But I have about 5 topics that I want to cover today, and the first one I want to talk about is Inventables. So when I made the video about the Honest X-Carve review, I got a lot of feedback in the comments, but the one that surprised me the most was I got a phone call direct to my cell phone from the CEO of Inventables, and he wanted to talk to me about the problems I was having with the X-Carve and my belt slipping. And I have to tell you, I was over the top excited about these guys calling me and really impressed with how they responded to this situation. And so rather than getting upset and saying, you're doing something wrong, they were seriously interested in finding out what the problem was and seeing what they could do to solve it. And their customer service was over the top. After doing some discussions, they actually said or realized that I didn't have the latest machine that they thought I had. So the upgrade parts they sent me were actually for a later machine, not the one I had. So what they decided to do was just have me donate my machine to a charity or a local maker shed, which I did. And then they sent me a brand new machine, and it had all of the upgrades, and my gosh, the upgrades are incredible. So we'll probably do another whole honest review video at some point here in the future. I have to tell you, the machine they sent me got destroyed by Federal Express, so thanks FedEx, and they actually turned around and sent me a third machine, or a second one if you will. And I just could not believe how interested and how caring Zach and the guys were at Inventables were about solving this problem. And the new machine works flawlessly. So we'll have a new honest review video or an update video coming soon on that. So my next topic is a little sensitive, but it's one that I really feel like I need to talk about. And it's I'm going to call this section Jerks in the Comments. And I have to tell you, there are a lot of jerks in the comments, and they say some of the rudest things that you can ever imagine. I've got to the point where I almost just don't even respond to comments anymore. And that's a shame, because that's a really great avenue for me to communicate with my fans and subscriber base. And I do, and I have been accused of it, and I've admitted this before, I do delete a lot of comments. If you post vulgarities in the comments or something calling me or one of the other subscribers a moron, idiot, stupid, whatever it is, that comment's going to get deleted, and it's going to get deleted almost immediately. And the reason is, and I'll say this again, this is a family channel, and this is all about helping each other learn and grow. And so I've had science teachers and woodshop teachers call me and write me and say they showed their video in my class. And the last thing I want is that poison in the comments in my videos. I want people to go and learn something. And you know what? Hey, it is true that I don't always get everything right, and that there are mistakes in some of my videos. Now, usually I try to go back and put an annotation or some kind of update in the description when I find out that there's an error. But getting on there and saying you're a effing moron or something like that is just completely unacceptable, and I will delete those, and I'm just not going to deal with it. It's not worth my time, and those people are not giving constructive criticism. In fact, half the time they're actually wrong. And so I wanted to address that. I want you to understand why I delete comments, and that's really all I have to say, and we're just going to move on. So let's talk about some upcoming projects. And so I have quite a few on the agenda. I have quite a few that are in some stage of already being produced, and they're just not finished. But the guys over at DF Robot, sorry, the guys over at DF Robot who make the Latte Panda actually sent me several things. They sent me the LCD, the 7-inch LCD screen, along with the 7-inch capacitive touch overlay for the Latte Panda. And I think this is going to be fantastic. I have an idea for a project for this that I think is going to just be cool. And it will involve some woodworking, it will involve some electronics and some other things. It's going to be really neat. Along with that, they also sent me the Latte Panda sensor starter kit. And so this kit has all kinds of sensors for temperature and humidity and gyros and all kinds of stuff. And so we're going to use these as well. And I think it's going to be really, really cool. So more to come on that. Additionally, just while we're talking about that, I have used this guy. This is a little set of helping hands I got off of Amazon, probably back when Amazon was just barely doing more than selling books. And I've used this for years, and I use this every time I solder components together or wires together, and sometimes just to hold a board when I'm connecting stuff to it. And the guys over at Quad Hands called me and said, you know, this is really, really crappy. Why are you using this? We have something way better. And they sent me this thing, and you may have seen it in a few videos recently, called a Quad Hands. And it's really heavy, and it sits on the table, and it's got all of these movable arms that you can clamp things to. And they make this in several different versions. I think they even have one that has more of these little arms. And this is freaking awesome. I don't know why I did not have this before. I've seen it on Amazon probably 100 times and didn't buy it. And now that I've had it, I'm kind of like, why in the world did I not have this before? This thing rules. There's a link in the description if you want to get one, but wow, thank you guys. This is really great. In addition, I have a Halloween project that's coming up that's going to involve some servos and some moving components and children, and I think you're going to love that. And I'm not going to tell you anymore, because if I tell you what I'm making, somebody else will go make it first, so I have to be secretive sometimes about my videos, so I'm not going to tell you what this is, but you're going to love it. Okay, so the last thing I want to do in this video is answer some of your questions, and I've gotten a lot of questions, and so I've actually written them all down so I could remember what they were. And so the first one is, are you going to do any more woodworking videos? And that's a really hard one for me, because I've never considered my channel to be a woodworking channel. It's a making channel. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at my first videos, they're all PVC and electronics and stuff. Like I made some air cannons, and I made the Brain of Morbius, which was out of some fish aquarium parts, and Brain of Morbius is from Doctor Who, if you don't know. And so I've never really had a woodworking channel. Sometimes I just make projects that happen to involve wood. And so, will I have more woodworking videos? Well, absolutely, but that's not the main point of this channel. There'll be plenty more, but the project that I'm doing will have to require having some woodworking skills or woodworking components to it. And so, yes, there will be more. Okay, so the second question is, seriously, why didn't you use Ryzen in your one-use server build? Okay, so a couple of reasons. The first one is when I built that project, Ryzen had just come out, and you could barely find the chips as it were. Additionally, the most important factor is that at the time there was zero ESXi support for VMware for Ryzen, and since those servers are running ESX on the hardware, on the bare metal, there was no support for it, and it's not something that I wanted to deal with at the time. I wanted to run something that was supported. I do have a vMug subscription, so I can run all of VMware's products supported as long as they're for home use and not in a production or business environment. And so I wanted to make sure that whatever I used just worked, and so I went with the Intel Core i7. A secondary question to that I get a lot, it wasn't actually on here, but is why did I use a Core i7 instead of a Xeon? I actually have a whole article on my website about the differences between a Core i7 and a Xeon. Generally, you can get more cores in the Xeon at a slower speed. But the use case for my device is primarily a Plex media server, and so it's constantly transcoding video to stream to devices. And Intel Core i7 actually has what's called a QTS core, and it is so QSV core, quick sync video. And so basically it's a hardware core that does compression and decompression of video at the hardware level. And so that really helps me out. It's something Xeon doesn't have. If I didn't need that, I probably would have used a Xeon processor in my build, but 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. It's a home lab environment, to be honest with you, and it works fine. And I don't really need any of the features that the Xeon has, like ECC RAM, really. I mean, what's that going to do for me in my home environment? Much of nothing. If I was running it in a business and I was going to process, bank transactions or trade stocks in the stock market with automated trading, well, most certainly I'd want ECC RAM. But it just in my environment, it's not necessary. It was just some extra money that I wouldn't have to spend, and I can always repurpose that hardware as a desktop machine in the future very easily. And so I just chose to use desktop hardware in it. At some point, I'll probably make another video and do it with the Xeon just for those diehard fans that want to see that. But I just didn't see any need for it in my environment. Okay, so the next question. So this one is very controversial and has been very controversial in the comments on YouTube and on my website. But it is. And it really isn't even a question. It's more of a statement, but I'm going to answer it as a question. It is, you need to get rid of all of your Apple products. Apple products suck. Real geeks don't use Apple. Yeah. Well, I am going to completely disagree with you on that. And I believe that real geeks like all technology. And so I have Apple in my environment. I have Windows in my environment. I have Android in my environment. I have Raspbian in my environment. I can go on and on and on. I have Linux in my environment. I feel like if you're a true geek, you just like technology. And different technology is good at different things. Linux on the desktop, in my opinion, is horrible, and I just don't want to use it. I much prefer Windows 10 or Mac OS 10 for the desktop. It's such a superior experience to any version of Linux on the desktop. For my servers, however, I only use Linux. I don't have any Windows servers and I don't have any Mac servers in my environment. I only use Linux. And so kind of use the right tool for the job, I guess, if you will. I mostly use my Mac for video editing, and that's probably about to change. I just built a new PC, as you saw in a couple of videos ago. And that PC is probably going to be an Adobe Premiere workstation. I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not for sure. I don't own the licenses for it yet. I have a demo copy through work, but I can't use that for my business. And so at some point I'll have to either buy my own subscription or buy a license to it if I'm going to go that route. But I'm seriously considering doing that very thing. So there you go. So I would say true geeks just like all technology. And do we prefer some over others? Yes, but generally we like all technology. Heck, I still have a Commodore 64 and an Atari 2600 and all kinds of old technology from the past that I still think are fun to play with, even though they have no real use in today's modern world. So anyway, I like all technology. Okay, so the last question is, what video games do you play? Well, that's an interesting question. So I'm not a huge gamer. I do play games from time to time. I need downtime and I need relaxation, and so I'll either choose to watch a movie or sometimes I'll play video games. I still log on to World of Warcraft probably once every 6 months for a week, and then I get bored with it and I sign off. Most recent game I played the heck out of was Destiny. I played that on Xbox One and really enjoyed it. That is I wish it was more like World of Warcraft in the MMO area, but I really like that game. I have downloaded Destiny 2, the beta on PC, and I've installed it, but I haven't played it yet. That's on my list to play soon. Other than that, I have to tell you, I'm not a real big gamer. Games that I've played, Fallout 4, Geez, hold on. What have I played? Battlefield 1. The Battlefield games are all pretty good, although I never really played them hardcore. Titanfall 2 I thought was excellent. I played that one all the way through, enjoyed every minute of it, and couldn't wait, or I really can't wait, and I hope they do actually make a Titanfall 3 or at least some DLCs for the campaign, because I thought the storyline was freaking fantastic. It was just really good. What else? I played the new Doom. People just seem to love that game. I played it for maybe the first 3 levels, and I was just like, this game sucks. It's way too hard, and it doesn't really make sense. It didn't remind me of the old Doom that I played, or Doom 2 when I was a kid in any way, form, or fashion. And I don't know, I just didn't like it, and so I just quit playing it. So yeah, so I play games occasionally. I'm a very casual gamer. I'm not going to ever be one of the hardcore gamers. I'm not big into multiplayer, although I will just from time to time go in and play a free-for-all type, where you just kill everybody type game. But I'm really more just of a casual gamer. I generally much prefer to spend my time working in the shop or spending time with my family, going out to dinner and those types of things. So gaming is really kind of it's my last go-to for an outlet if I need to burn off some steam or something. So there you have it. Well, hey guys, that's going to be the end of this update. Thanks so much for watching. Leave your questions in the comments and I'll answer those in the next pub talk. I really do appreciate everybody, and I really do appreciate all the kind comments, even if I have to delete some of the jerks from time to time. And you guys are the reason that I do all of these videos, and I can't thank you enough for all that you've done for me. So see you in the next video.